Taking pace for the seat, but you're only gonna need the edge. This is a little bit too hot of a microphone. I need to cue this on down. I just made my head swim a little bit. AJ, you ever get your head swimming? You ever just start talking and then the words escape you as your mind starts swirling into cotton? You ever do that? Is that like a deficiency?
Are you saying that you talked so loud and so vigorously that you made yourself lightheaded?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know what it is. This is part of the reason I've been going to a doctor, because that's been happening more frequently. I think it's stress.
Oh.
I think it's I'm not too concerned about it because I know the doctors will fix me up and I'll be looking good. But like I want to be able to talk with energy. I want to talk.
Is it possible that it's a podcasting injury?
A podcasting injury? AJ, wait, do we have comp? Does Spiritual Successor Season 2 include comp for you and me? Medical comp? Do we make enough on our...
dog.
Do we make enough on our Patreon yet?
Not only that, but if we did, you wouldn't get benefits. I would, but that's because
what?
I'm salary.
What?
Yeah,
wait,
sorry,
you get benefits,
paid by
but I
the
don't get
hour.
benefits?
Well, I'm not paid by the hour because I edit the show, and you are paid by the hour, so that's why, like, you're an hourly wage, so no benefits for you.
But I edit a Let's Play, and I make the art, and I manage the Discord, and I manage the Patreon. This is bullshit. I do
agree.
work.
You know what? You should start a union.
I'm going to unionize. I'm going to make the SUCC union. And I'm here to call out all of the bullshit I have experienced in... Wait,
well, unfortunately, this is 50% of our workforce, so I will have to listen to you, and this is how a union operates.
You know what? I'm getting weird images up. You know, like those two heads in Ben 10 Omniforce, where he where they're always arguing, but they can't make a decision, and then they have to have a third person come in to tell them, like, yeah, this is what I agree with.
Blake, you can't be in here dropping spoilers for Ben 10 Ultimate Alien like this. You have to give a warning that you're going to be spoiling
I'm sorry.
subplots relating to Ultimate Alien.
Do I need to give a spoiler warning for...
That is the name of the alien that does that thing.
Do I need to give a spoiler warning for a 13-year-old series? Actually, it was Omni Alien. No, that was like 2011, 2012.
Ultimate Alien. The alien that we're talking about is Alien X.
Omnitrix.
Please
Ben
do
10,
not fuck up
the
Ben 10
Omnitrix.
stuff.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spiritual Successor, a comedy video game design podcast where we sometimes talk about Ben 10, sometimes talk about unions and how... AJ gets benefits, but I do not. It is really sad. Spiritual Successor Season 2 was going to fix that, but nah, I'm still hung out to dry. I am one of your hosts, Blake Rhea.
And I'm your other host, AJ Hart, and we're here to ring-a-ding-ding in Season 2, baby. New drops inbound. Those drops don't include health benefits for Blake Rhea, but here's what they do include.
Hey, I know Spiritual Successor Season 2 is launched. There's not much we can do to change it, but I would like to make an addendum. Bro, I'm 25.
No, you can...
Dude,
hey,
I'm 25. I'm about to turn 26, and I'm about to lose my parents' health benefits, and that's scary. That's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do.
Well, now that you've unionized, when we go into discussions for Season 3, you can fight for health benefits in that season.
The SUCC
but
union.
Right now, Season 2, you get nothing.
Well,
here's what Season 2 will bring in, actually. It does bring in more hours for you because we have new products coming down the pipeline.
So I may not be getting a lot of benefits, but the audience sure as hell is. If you are interested, we have a YouTube channel where we post Let's Plays, and we were doing about one Let's Play a week. They're about an hour long, and we realized we can't get through a lot of games by doing that. You and I took 3 months to get through Dead Rising. Unacceptable. Can't do that again. So we're doing
it was a long time to get through that game.
We're doing 2 Let's Plays a week every Tuesday and Friday. If you guys want to hang out with us, listen to us dick around, talk about unions and how much, like healthcare I need, come check us out on YouTube at Spiritual Successor Podcast. But you know what? Let's Plays.
Do we want to spoil what one of our next games is? Because I'm hella excited about what our next game on the Let's Play channel is going to be.
Oh, give them a little bit of a benefit. Yeah, we're about to finish both It Takes Two and Dead Rising next week. So if you want to give a little bit of a spoiler, I'm down. Go ahead.
we're starting up Travis Strikes Again, baby.
God,
it's going to be Blake's first No More Heroes game.
I'm so excited to see this rancid boy get his comeuppance and become... I hear he becomes, like, way cooler in the newest game, Travis. What's the newest game called again? No More Heroes 3.
Just No More Heroes 3. It's that he's not just an absolutely trash man. But you will be joining Travis during the middle of his arc to becoming not the worst person on Earth.
I am so excited to do the voice because there's like a visual novel aspect to that game, and you and I get to practice voices. I can't wait to do the voice for Batman. That's literally his name, right? It's just Batman.
Yeah.
How fucking stupid and over the top and awesome is that? I love it. I love it.
You don't understand. It's deep because his daughter's name was Bad Girl.
That's stupid, AJ. That sounds so fucking stupid. Outside that, we have 2 more announcements that we will go on over the course of the episode. But for now, AJ, do you want to give a game? You want to hit off? Do you want to start off Spiritual Suck Season 2? Because clearly you are the favored worker of this company.
I make the rules, and so yes, I will go ahead and drop the first one.
I make the rules, so I made myself the favorite. I don't care. No input from anybody else. Go ahead, hit me with the game.
Vince McMahon be like. Anyway, this comes from Mop, probably Callum Philpott on Twitter. A modern-day set RPG where you play as someone who believes the moon is an evil god. You spend the game leveling up in order to accomplish your goal. Kill the moon. Can they do it? Or is it just a space rock?
So this kind of...
This is an RPG where your stats are normal human stats. And it's stuff like, oh, your stamina is 10? That means that you can run a mile without being winded. Congratulations.
So, okay, hold on. So the end goal is to kill the moon. Is this... I can picture this going 2 ways. Is this like a spore type of system where it's like you start off as just a singular person and then it's overall... It becomes something like Frostpunk, where it's like you're controlling a civilization that is slowly gearing up to fucking destroy the moon. Well, actually, no. This is a good route because
yes, it is a top-down like tactics game that slowly builds out as you start out as one guy and then eventually like become a scientist and then become a group of astronauts and then become a group of space fighters.
How about no? Fuck the science angle. I don't want to do the science angle of this thing because can you read the submission again? Because I want to hone in on something.
Okay. Yeah. A modern-day set RPG where you play as someone who believes the moon is an evil god. You spend the game leveling up in order to accomplish your goal. Kill the moon.
Okay.
Can they do it, or is it just a space rock?
Okay,
I would argue that you can still kill it if it is just a space rock, for the record.
I mean, sure. Oh, totally. You could totally kill a rock moon. But the thing that stands out to me is that they think the moon is an evil god. This isn't a game about science. This isn't a game about maximizing your civilization. This is a game about growing your cult. This is about growing a following because what that tells me is that you worship some god that doesn't fucking like the moon. Maybe you worship the sun. Maybe, you know what? This is like a midsummer god. I am so apologize. I just butchered that in the heat of the moment. No, it's not fine. It's people's language, and we gotta respect that.
Blake, we cannot get started printing retractions in season 2. Are you kidding me? Think about how many things you and I fuck up.
The season of not giving a fuck. Yeah, you're right.
Think about how much you and I mix up. You think for a second that we can spend any amount of mental energy like repairing damages? Come on, dude. All right. Do I need to show you the budget again? Like 90% of the money comes to me. 10% goes to you, and I'm gonna let you know right now, Blake. I'm looking out for you. The retractions budget, it ain't coming out of my 90%.
all the repairs and damages and sues. That all of that money comes from the money that I would normally get, which
that comes out of your union dues, which you decided that you wanted to have.
Okay, but going back to the submission, I wonder if this starts like you are in a commune, like more like Midsommar kind of vibe. For those that don't know, Midsommar, it's spoiler warning. It's for you, AJ, just for you. It's a cult, but it's also like done it's a horror movie done in a way that's so unlike most horror movies, where everything's very bright and very like very colorful, very it's you wouldn't expect it to be a horror movie going into it. I'm wondering if you can start off on that level where it's just like people in a commune, no technology, and as the game goes on, you collect more followers, and maybe they have technology, but all of it's like maybe like more occult powered. So it's not like Spore, where it's like you're growing your civilization to become like this dominant civilization, but moreover like maybe something along the lines of Dune, where it's like you have a vast society that does have advanced technology, but it's not like, you know, electronic in nature.
I think that you have to get to the hyper magic technology. It's Magitech. It's half magic, half technology.
It's powered by crystals, baby.
I think that it does start off as like this top-down tactics game where you just have your one little guy, and then eventually like, and you'll be fighting.
Just a little guy.
You'll be going out and you'll be hunting. You'll be fighting other cults, I guess, to try to get them to join your cult so that you can go fight them.
Oh, what if all of the cults in this game are like inspired by heavenly bodies? So it's like you have the cult of the moon, you have the cult of like Saturn, the cult of Mars, the cult of like, so they're all based on like planets and comets and like
that
very
rules.
Notable thing. Yeah, so like all of the cults have different like personalities to them. So
and as the game goes on, it'll progress from like a top-down level of like you have one person, and then it will eventually turn into like something akin to XCOM. And then halfway through the game, we'll give you the option to band characters together to create tiny units. And then the camera will zoom out. And then we've created the idea of little armies, which now we've become a more broad.
It's like an RTS. It becomes an RTS or like a total war sort of game.
Exactly.
And that's how so is the whole point of it then to conquer the planet?
I think that you need to gather up enough points and enough armies that like you're feeling sustainable and powerful enough, and there will be a separate grid that's like go to the moon. Like that'll be its own secondary objective where you have to like level things up so that you can either get enough magic to teleport you to the moon or enough science to build a space rocket.
So let me ask you something, because this game, though very different, it reminds me of this one game I cannot learn it for the life of me because it's so complicated, but you ever heard of Cultist Simulator?
No.
So it's like a deck building game, sort of, where you are trying to build out your cult, and you have to balance like inducting people, offing people, just managing the funds of your cult without getting caught by other people. Is there a level of intrigue in this game? Like, oh, what if we did something we just stole?
No, I think that you're totally allowed to have this cult. I'm thinking that we take a Scientology angle where like it's a cult, but everyone knows it, and like we're all like, yeah, that's a
thing. They're too rich. There's nothing we could do about it. They kind of just exist.
And I think that's the angle. Maybe this is Scientology trying to take out the moon. I don't know any of the ideals or goals of Scientology other than to exploit money from people.
I mean, when you just lay it out like that, it's all right there on the can, isn't it? Okay, so how does this game end? Is it? I'm trying to figure out what are the pitfalls that you could be walking through, because they did say RPG, so that tells me there has to be multiple ways to go about this game. Are you
not necessarily, but it's an RPG. You can have like a game with it, like Persona. Like, yeah, there's choices in like the character hangouts, but like the story only goes one way, and you're only really gonna build your character to hurt and kill.
Yeah, and also you get to pick like your relationships on the side that don't necessarily have an impact.
I think RPG just means there's numbers. Like, let's really think about it, right? That's all RPG really means.
Role-playing game. That's what? No, I mean,
no, because like I wouldn't call Call of Duty a role-playing game.
But no, it's not a role-playing game, but there's
no numbers. Now, Borderlands is an RPG because there's numbers.
What are the numbers, though? There are no numbers.
For the guns,
completely different
guns on the numbers go up. And when I shoot things, the numbers pop up on screen.
But they have different mechanics, though. They have different, like, I'm not saying, I don't think the Siren plays the same way as the Soldier. Like, there's a difference in play style there. So how about this? Let me pick you
here's where we go. So, here's what it comes down to. Is Bulletstorm an RPG?
No, it's not an RPG.
But there is numbers.
But so does fucking Galaga, but I don't think Galaga's a goddamn, like, RPG. So does fucking Pac-Man. Oh, just because you could pick a different lane in Pac-Man means it's an RPG? Numbers don't mean shit.
See? So character choice doesn't mean anything either. If you're saying that you can take different paths, then you wouldn't call Pac-Man an RPG. So,
AJ, you and I talked about the Spiritual Successor Season 2 means less arguing. You and I gotta be on the same page of things. You and I talked about this, and you immediately threw it out.
You know what it is? It's old habits. You know what I mean? They die hard.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 100 episodes will do that. You just build. So let me pitch you on this. If we're going an RPG route, so like in Civilization, which is like that big top-down like RTS game. Depending on which society you choose at the beginning of the game dictates where you spawn on the planet. Mm-hmm. Depending on which heavenly body you worship at the beginning of the game dictates what area you spawn in on the planet, or you also dictates what abilities. Like, I'm imagining if you choose the Mars has often been associated. Fuck it, I'm just gonna go into it. I don't know if this is right or not. Mars has often been associated with, like...
That's the attitude I expect to see out of you. Fuck it. If we're wrong, we're wrong. Whatever.
Mars has often been associated with war and, like, rage, right? So what if there were rage-based mechanics that you then get to capitalize on? So, like, what if you have a cult of rage? And I'm imagining that would dictate why you want to destroy the moon. So, like, if you chose the rage, it's just like, I fucking hate the way that moon looks down on us. Every time I look up in the sky and there it is, looking down on us, that
facing the
shitty
moon's
grin.
Smug face.
Yeah, facing the moons, the smug faces on the moon. I just want to punch it in the face. But then so depending on which heavenly body you choose would dictate, like, what are your motivations? What are the ways that you induct people into your cult? And how do you go about destroying the moon? So I think that's kind of the RPG element that could be translated regardless if you're just one guy or if you're just a whole group of people moving army style.
Okay, so, let's put a pin in this.
Okay, all right. I also think Heavenly Bodies is a pretty good... actually, it's a little bit too romantic, isn't it?
Heavenly Bodies does feel a little bit too romantic.
Actually, wait a second. Isn't that the one series about the people with the tattoos? No, that's Heavenly Creatures. I might have gotten all of that. I think I named 3 different book series. Heavenly Bodies. Yeah. Heavenly Bodies. Actually, it's a PS5 game. All right, whatever.
What?
It's our game. It's our game now.
Our game now.
I guess it's. This one comes to us in the vein of RPGs, because we're picking a theme this week, I guess. This one comes to us on Twitter from Gazzer at JustGazzer Day 1A1. An RPG where the world is entirely made up of craft products, a la Kirby's Epic Yarn or Paper Mario. So I love the reason I picked this is because I love the idea. I've been getting into crafts and shit lately, so any excuse to talk about, like, man, what if we built a game that's all about, like, dioramas, or, like, you built a game that's all about, like, all of your weapons are crafting based, like,
or an entire
Paper
game
Mario.
that takes place within a Joann's fabrics. Yeah, I totally get it.
Oh my god, you get shrunk, honey. I got shrunk into Joann's fabrics. So one of the things that I find so cool, and I think translates to an RPG, is when you are, like, say, building a clay model, you have to start out with its skeleton, where you do, like, the armature, and then you wrap it in foil so you're not wasting clay, and then you have to cover that in clay, and then you have to do all the detail work. What if your advancement as a character, you start off as, like, the base material? So, like, at the beginning of the game, you're just a paperclip. You're the armature. And then as you level up, your character, or you as an art piece yourself, gets more and more complete. So by the end of the game, you go...
this, then.
Yeah, what's up?
You are becoming more and more complete, and you're getting more things added on to you, and you do start off as a sentient paperclip. By the end of the game, you are trying to leave the Joann's fabrics like Pinocchio and pass yourself off as a real boy.
Oh, so you have to go, and each level is like a different section of the Joann's fabric. This screams to me like
getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, that would be so cool, because One of my biggest pet peeves in video games, I'm playing God of War right now, and I love it. It's so much fun. Things I fucking hate about it, though, is how, like, I get to something like, oh, hey, here's a chest, but it's covered in this, like, red root that I can't destroy. I guess I have to fucking remember to come back to this to open it. I hate that in video games. I think it's the dumbest, stupidest thing. I hate it. It wastes my time because now it means I have to remember things, and I'm impatient. I'm no.
Not a big Metroid fan, huh?
No, I'm not. I love Metroid as a concept. I love that as an IP and as a vibe. I fucking hate it gameplay-wise. I fucking hate it because it's just so. To me, I get the appeal of it of like, and this is where I was going with this crafting game.
Keep the pitch.
It's cool to come back to an area and see how it changed. And in God of War, it actually does it in an interesting way. The main hub is Midgard, and it's a big lake. Middle of the game, or somewhere in the game, that lake's water goes down bit by bit, and opening up a whole new bunch of like areas to explore in that same area you've been in for like the past 6 hours. That's cool. That's magical.
Create that, except it's because you got bigger. Like
because you got bigger. It's like Katamari Damacy also does that a little bit, where it's like you start off super small, and as you get bigger, it's like, oh, your brain triggers like, oh, now that I'm this big, all of those things I had to avoid earlier, I could just scoop up. So like in this
things that were like a big platforming challenge at the beginning of the game are now just stairs for your normal big body. Now that you're toddler sized.
Yeah. So it's like, and I love that because it'd be like, oh, you get to so say you start off as an armature or whatever, you get to the clay area and you realize, oh man, even though I have the skeleton, I have nothing for the clay to stick to. I guess I got to go over to another area to get the tinfoil to build out my body a little bit. Then I can, once you have that new ability that comes with like being more rigid of like the tinfoil or whatever, then you can get access to the clay parts. So then it's just like this back and forth of like going to different areas of a Joann's Fabrics or a Michael's or whatever, and just exploring. This game screams to me.
It's platform. A collectathon. Yeah, it's a platform collectathon. Yeah. I think that what we need to nail down is how horrifying your character is going to look, because I really do want it to just be like Pinocchio, but if it was a copy pasta or a creepypasta.
Instead of like actual hair, it's like those what are those little squigs or whatever? What the fuck are those things called? Where it's like I know every crafting
little pipe cleaners.
The pipe cleaners,
yeah, I got you. Bud. So it's just like no real hair, just pipe cleaners,
just and googly eyes, melted clay. I wonder.
I want you to look like when you're approaching near the end of the game, you are looking like a teenager that got put in a microwave. Like, I know that that's a really horrifying image, and I'm sorry about that. But like, you're like made of clay, and your shirt is made of paper, and so like everything's kind of falling off of you as you're walking around.
You know that I forget which Indiana Jones movie it was. Is the one where the dude's face got melted for looking in the Ark of the Covenant? You look like that, but like midway it stopped. He didn't get melted away completely.
I think it keeps going, and your character's idle animation is like grabbing a piece of their face that's falling off of their chin and sliding it back up to their head.
This gives me. I don't think you've ever seen it. I remember it making its rounds. The Adventures of Mark Twain, the claymation movie.
Yes. It is.
Yeah, remember the scene where like they're talking to Satan and just like how weird and melty their face got. Mm-hmm. So let's talk mechanics a little bit here. Is this a game where the things that you've crafted onto yourself can fall off? So is this a game where rather than trying to constantly...
How familiar are you with the video game on the Xbox 360 that saw no financial success, Never Dead?
Never Dead? I've never heard of it.
So I think it's called Never Dead. It was the third-person action game where your character didn't have a health bar, but because he was cursed with immortality. And so enemies would shoot and hurt and kill him, and he would fall apart like a little doll man.
Oh,
and his legs and arms and head would fall off.
That's actually kind of fun. So it's like, that reminds me of those like old toys where you pull the string and it makes the body like stand upright, but the moment you let the string go, the whole body crumples. You remember those things?
It was kind of like that.
Yeah. So it's just like a physics simulation.
You get more health in the way that you have more things that can fall off of you in combat, and you just have to run around and pick them up like Sonic the Hedgehog rings.
So does that imply that depending on what you have on your body would dictate what abilities you have?
Yeah,
Because they did say an RPG, so like
you'll have like a punch button, a kick button, and then like a third person, like a shoot button, like a. I guess my frame of reference is any AAA action game. Period. You know what I mean?
Let me hit you. Let me hit you with one. Remember, what's that Cronenberg movie where he has the gun that shoots finger bullets or fingernails or whatever? That's what your gun is. There's a lot of Cronenberg
films with flesh guns.
Really? Yeah, I would feel like it's only one.
Well, you named one, and I already know of one that doesn't sound like that at all, and that's Videodrome, where he gets essentially a grenade launcher hand.
That's so okay. So that, but either way, because we can go off on that tangent.
I know the one that you're talking about though, because I had a VHS for it in my house, and it was described as The Matrix, but crazy. Like it says on the fucking box for the VHS, The Matrix.
So what if that's your hand? Like your character's right hand is just firing the clay, but one thing I love, and I can't name any game that does it. You get that eventually.
I think you start with just a smack button because you're a little paperclip, and the little paperclip animation is that you whip the end of the paperclip out like a fun little punch.
Well, one thing I was leaning towards is like I'm wondering if your attacks are connected to your health or your physical self in a way where it's like
connected to things that you unlocked. Yes. So like if you're in combat and you get hit too much, you'll drop your gun and then you're running around. You're like, oh, where'd my gun go? I got to pick that back up.
Well, what if we go a step further with that? So like I'm just using the gun as an example because I think it's like the most obvious one, but like, so you have your hand and you're firing clay bullets, but the more you fire, the more clay is actually being taken from your body.
Yeah.
So we can lean into that body horror craft. That's the description of this game. Body horror in a Joann's fabric store. So that
yes.
So as you use your abilities, you are taking pieces of yourself off of you. That's the stank on this game. This is like a bug stack style game where it's like it's cute on the surface, but the more you think about it and the more you look at it, the weirder it fucking gets and the more uncomfortable you get. Because like let's
have some AJ, like hardcore action moments in this game where like do you know those executions in God of War where like you grab somebody by the legs, pick them up and rip them in half?
Yeah,
maybe there's things like that. Maybe there's an enemy that like looks like a little woolly Yoshi, and the execution is that you grab hold of the end of it and then you just start yanking that string while like you hold one hand out and hold that far away from you while you rip the ripcord on this little dude.
And you just expose their skeleton. Yeah, like holy shit.
This is a game that is for kids, and then you look at it and you're like the kid animation he took the string off of the woolly man. And then like an adult sees it and is like, did you just skin that man alive?
Yeah, and then there's that moment where like the paper split or the armature that was inside that little like yarn Yoshi just kind of sits there, wobbles for a little bit, and then it just smacks onto the floor. So it's like
here's my new pitch on this.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Could this be our Conker's Bad Fur Day? I'm saying all the marketing and stuff is like, oh, look, it's all fun and cutesy and totally fine. And then we get in and the paperclip's like, I just want to have sex and get a titty butt. Like...
I'm going to say no because I don't care for that.
Like, how wild is it, by the way, that Conker's Bad Fur Day exists that way with a little rat that wants to just drink and smoke all day and get action? And then
I've never heard of that game, and I'm
Conker game is a children's game, period.
I mean, what year did this come out on?
Conker's Bad Fur Day? I think that's a 96 game.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. That sounds like that era.
Now, I'll admit, it's possible that Conker the Squirrel is not that nasty, and in my brain, I just like categorized him under the same section in my brain as Fritz the Cat, which is a nasty cat.
Wait, hold on. What's the name of the game again? Did you say Discworld?
No, Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Conker's Bad Fur Day. So for some reason, I thought you said Discworld at the end of that. I'm like, the book
No, he's a squirrel.
Like I mean, like, dude, it's a 90s game. Like, there's so much fucking trash of the 90s that it's just like, yeah, it's better left there. Not
Hey, Conker's Bad Fur Day is held in a lot of people's hearts for some reason. I never played it.
Really?
Yeah, it was a rare
Really?
game, like Banjo and Kazooie, so it had a decent pedigree behind it.
Man, I don't know. I feel like there's better games that came out in that era, like Grim Fandango, which was a little
Like
bit more
Banjo
clever.
Kazooie.
I mean, I never played Banjo Kazooie. Never. Just a game that never found its way into my house. I was more of like a Spyro guy. That was like my ideal. Like, oh, I'm a kid playing a cool, fantastical creature. I'm gonna just be Spyro. I'm a little dragon who just fucking yells at people and is snarky. How adorable. Actually, that brings up a good thing. What is our main character like? Who are they? Are they a snarky sort of
I
character?
think they swear and cuss and they crave violence.
They crave violence.
Like what this person is like at their core, they are somebody that intends to use their life to commit fraud. They intend to leave the Joanns fabric pretending to be a human.
At any cost. And they want to get out of this Joanns fabrics at any cost. They will not stand by and let people be in their way.
They will consume everything, and they will become human by any means necessary.
Oh my god. So how about this then? So I wonder if this is like a Golden Fleece story or like a Holy Grail sort of tale where like somewhere hidden in the Joanns fabrics, in the most forgotten hallway of this Joanns fabrics,
is a human heart.
Is a human heart that will want, upon building or sewing into your body clay, like just something really fucking grotesque and awful, you then craft yourself into a human being and then can leave the Joann fabrics. Because I wonder if there's like maybe the opening scene is like our character trying to run their way through like these sliding. Actually, that's the funniest thing. They're not big enough to activate the automatic doors, so they look at it as like some force field that they can't get through.
It's
so like
just
the
like
only way
an
to
hour, it's an 8-hour journey, much like this scene in Toy Story where all the toys were trying to figure out how to open the automatic door. This is that game.
Yeah. So but there's this like fantastical element to it. They don't understand it's mechanical or whatever. It's like there's a magic force field around this entire labyrinthian of hallways and crafting materials that you can't escape unless you are the size of a human. So there's this magical element to this character going through each of these hallways, getting new abilities, getting new crafting materials, that is constantly changing. So you and I just finished playing It Takes Two, and my favorite thing about that game is that every time, the moment you get comfortable with a mechanic, it takes it away from you and gives you something new to play with. So like every level you're being introduced to new crafting materials that you can integrate into your being somehow. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if it's like God of I don't know if the new God of War does this, but my interpretation of from my understanding, in the previous God of War games, you had like 8 different weapons you can play with. Or actually, Devil May Cry 6 is a better example. Like you have the guns, you have the fists, you have the boots, you have whatever. So every time that you get something new, it becomes part of your weapon wheel that you can then integrate into yourself whenever you want. You can try different different crafting combos.
Yes.
You know, but also your health is tied to the material you have on you. So if you get hit in a boss fight while you had your googly eyes on, which give you laser beam eyes for some reason, guess what? You lost those laser beam eyes for the rest of the fight. Now you got to try out a different material and see how that works with the other things you have equipped.
I also love the idea that as the game gets the character get bigger and bigger, tools that you had at the beginning don't matter anymore. Like let's use that laser pointer idea. Mm-hmm, maybe when you get it, it's like a stun because the idea is that you're pointing it in the eyeballs of somebody and so they get stunned. But when you get really big, like that's not gonna stun anybody. It's a laser pointer.
Yeah. Oh, but then it becomes like something. Then you can each tool can still be used later on as like, because you said laser pointer, I'm wondering, okay, maybe there's a loose cat in this Joann's fabrics. Maybe that becomes, you use those tools as like puzzle solvers. So it'll be like, oh man, I need something off of the top shelf. Let me use my googly eyes to laser point and guide this cat to come knock this thing off for me. So it's like each tool has a double purpose of being a weapon, but as it basically
as you get bigger and it becomes tool sized, it is now a tool. Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
I'm gonna put a pin in this. Yeah, let's do another game.
I'm so interested in body horror clay, like shit. Like it just gets my engine loving. I meant to say loving and revving.
Gets your engine loving.
Rubbing. All right, what you got?
That's what Scooby-Doo would say if he was in the Fast and the Furious movies.
All right, there you go. That's our next game. It's Wacky Races, but in the Fast and Furious universe.
This comes from Caleb Personal Pan Martin, a pay-to-lose game.
Oh,
Blake, they keep on
okay.
making the dang video games too easy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I sat down and I played No More Heroes 3, and I put it on the normal difficulty, and I blasted right through that game. Barely had to think.
Yeah.
I played through Resident Evil 8. It wasn't even scary. Resident Evil 8 Village. I played through Resi 8. Wasn't even scary. Just played the whole thing. It was super easy. Don't pay attention to the times that I died against the final boss because it was difficult. They're making video games too easy. And a pro gamer like me, having finished Dark Souls, that was a lie. Having finished Sekiro and Fury, I'm like a pro gamer now, and I need video games that are going to come with some heat.
So why
I want to create a video game that is so
difficulty?
No, even the hardest difficulty is too easy. What we need to do is we need to create a system where if you want the game to be more difficult and become enjoyable, you have to pay more money. You know, you have all these people saying like, "Oh, I want a difficulty slider in Dark Souls," and it's like, yeah, there should be accessibility options, but what if Elden Ring is going to be super easy? And if you want to be a real gamer, Blake, put your money where your mouth is. Pay the $200 for the extra hard mode.
Okay, so how does this translate into gameplay rather than just a one-time purchase? Like, what is the? Because
every time you pay money, you get New Game Plus, and it will keep adding pluses. But it's still so easy. The numbers only go up so much every time you buy a New Game Plus to make it harder. This is a game that will capitalize on those people that think that video games need to be hard in order to be enjoyed.
Oh, God. This is, like, specifically marketed towards those dudes. Are you an angry game reviewer who thinks games that need to be wicked hard and challenge you to your deepest abilities to be good? This game's for you. I'm trying to figure out...
targeting people that were like, Sekiro needs to be difficult in order to be really enjoyed. You know what I mean? I'm targeting those people.
Wait, hold on. Were people saying that? Because I thought people were saying Sekiro was good because it was hard.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Sekiro is a very good game. Do not get me wrong. It did bring up the discussion about whether or not there needed to be more like accessibility options in games that are built like that, or games in general need better accessibility options. Because while Sekiro is a very cool game, it is not a game that is accessible to people, especially people that have like problems with using standard controllers.
You know what this gives me the energy of like this whole fuck you thing of like, because I'm picturing in this game that you've come up with, it's like you go to the accessibility options page and it's just like it literally just says fuck accessibility options.
No.
That's
this
the
game
energy
will have
this game.
all the accessibility options. This game is going to be super approachable. What I'm creating
so easy, but...
is a game that is infuriating to people that think that Sekiro had to be difficult in order to be good.
This is a game that makes a game so hard that it shits on the people. It shits on those people specifically.
A game that is so easy that it feels it is made to anger those people. I'm saying, what if Elden Ring comes out? It's not difficult. It's a really easy game. It's really approachable, and it's very friendly to its players. That would be super cool to pick up a game that has accessibility options ready for that, especially because I think that world's going to be very cool. It will make gamers, capital G gamers, very mad because capital G gamers are under the impression that games have to be hard in order for them to be properly enjoyed. It's how you experience the artist's true message. It needs to be difficult. And we say, yeah, you're right, Chucklehead. Give me $20.
Give me $20.
Put your money where your mouth is. You think that the game should be hard? Pay more money. It'll be harder.
I think the way that you can make this and really put some stank on this, because I'll be honest, doing just a one-time payment and you'd be like, oh, now you have the hard things unlocked. That's, it's funny, but we can do something different. Like how in Dark Souls 1 you had the humanity thing, where it's like it's a limited time, or it's a limited material, and you need to be in humanity mode to access a bunch of the different things in the game. So I'm wondering, is this a purchase by purchase thing? So like, let's say you call it let's call it the tankard of hard ale. So it's like a tankard of hard gameplay you're buying.
Okay, yeah,
and that costs like $20. So, but every time you die, you need to buy another tankard of hard ale. So it's like, hey, You wanted this fucking hard gameplay. You're gonna get it. But guess what? The moment you die and the moment you fucking get shit on by this hard gameplay you asked for, you need to buy another thing. Because guess what? This is what you fucking wanted. You complained and you complained about how games need to be hard. And then guess what? This is what fucking happens when you complain and get elitist. You fuck. That's the energy I'm going for.
Yes. Give me the Punishes elitist gamers. I'm all for that.
So if the game mode that you want and that you asked for, you need to repetitively pay for, because guess what? This game, it's going to be hard as dicks. It's going to be fucking awful and uncomfortable and not fun to play, and you are going to die a lot. I never kept track of how many times I died in Sekiro, but it's a lot. Now I've multiplied that by like $10, $20 every time I die. Dude, we're going to make a lot of fucking money.
We're going to make so much money off of people that I won't feel bad about getting money off of. This rules.
And guess what? This works out great for you and I, because now I get those health benefits, and they're being paid, and that's being paid for by dick shits.
And that's what elitists get. They get to pay for your health insurance.
What a flex that would be. Be like, I go into the doc and be like, hey man, I need some antibacterial stuff. My face is starting to get all numb again. And they're like, all right. It's like, oh, that's going to be $200 to me. And then like I bring out the Spiritual Suck like brand like debit card and be like, put it on this. And then I just think about all the assholes that all the money I've gotten from
money
jerk-offs.
You've gotten from people that say that games have to be hard to be enjoyed. Yum 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 yum.
All right, let me give you another game.
Okay.
All right, this one comes to us on Twitter from I Am Not Witty Enough for a Funny Name at ARP1033, a cooking game where you commit food crimes, make the most disgusting, gross food combos that are still edible, i.e. blending 300 jelly beans and some soy milk into a smoothie, Gatorade rice, etc. All right.
Here's the problem that I've noticed immediately.
Yo, what's up?
Both of those things I know you would eat without a doubt.
No, don't call me out like that. Yes, I would eat them, but that's not important.
Like if I had rice that I had boiled in Gatorade and then was like, check this out, Blake. Here you go, fruit punch rice. You would do it. I mean, no hesitation.
I would. Okay, I wouldn't. Maybe not fruit punch. Actually, no, fruit punch rice would be good.
Yeah, that's good. What
if you
combine
it, maybe like lime. Do a little bit of lime that has that kind of citrusy rice flavor. I could dig that.
Yeah.
Also,
it'd be green, and you'd be like, oh hell yeah, green.
Yeah. Just green porridge slop. Yeah, sign me up. It sounds awesome. Also, jelly beans and soy milk is just like Fruity Pebbles. It's just a bunch of little fruity pellets in milk.
God, like, yeah, you make me so upset with the things that you say.
I mean, dude, don't
that's
talk
the thing.
To me
it's
about
like
food.
I don't think that you could do a food crime in this game that would like stop you.
So okay, but to go to the game and what I'm picturing here,
Blake, what's a food crime that you can't get behind?
A food crime that I can't get behind.
Like is it like a really common like accident thing? Like is it like mashed potatoes and corn like you just won't fuck with?
No, I love that. Actually,
you mix them together, don't you? You get the little corn on your on his barbecue Sunday and you mix the corn with the mashed potatoes. Yep, of course.
Yeah, because it's a good texture. Do you not like that? Are you weird about textures or what? I mean, understandably, I can understand some food textures are weird, but like that one's pretty basic. That's hard to avoid. The corn is always next to the mashed potatoes. They're gonna get mixed together. That's
see, I leave it alone. The mix-up that happens is the mix-up that happens. I don't purposely seek it out like a criminal like you. I'm not a food anarchist.
I watched Ratatouille and just seeing him combine like cheese and strawberries, I'm like, man, there are textures that you can play with. There could be soft and chewy, and there could be like there's like a little bit of like flakiness on this cold thing.
Are you proposing that Little Chef the Rat is what Joker-fied you into food crimes?
No,
you saw cheese and strawberries, and you thought Joker everything.
Joker-fied implies that I've gone unhinged and now everything's game. Though that may be true.
Then name me 3 things that aren't game. Oh, sorry, you said it was true. Yeah, okay.
Okay, regardless of that, let's talk this game. So you and I have been playing Dead Rising on the YouTube channel, and that's been a wonderful experience. You can't make this game.
That's what I'm proposing to you, Blake. I'm saying that you are so off the cuff and out of pocket on food things that you cannot be a frame of reference to craft this game. This isn't the place that I want you.
Okay, AJ, my job
Your
here,
appetite
my
is
role,
unwelcome in this dev space.
My job here is to make games that should not be made. And I'm going to make a game where you ferment boiled eggs and Gatorade. So I am here to do a job, and I will do that to the best of my ability. So, we have been playing Dead Rising, and this is not by any means new of a zombie apocalypse happening in a mall, or a zombie apocalypse happening where the survivors are stuck in like a Walmart or some sort of food thing. So what if this is a survival game where you're not fighting zombies or whatever, you are just scouring this mall while avoiding zombies to collect various food items that you can then bring back to the other survivors, and then they will rate your food. They have the audacity to rate your food, even though it's like they're not getting off their asses to help make this food. To be like, I just think you can have a lot of fun where it's like, even though you're in a survival situation and any food is good food, that these people have the audacity. It's like everybody who is a survivor that you're taking care of was a shitty Yelp food review,
yes,
food reviewer. So they like you bring back
a food critic,
like,
I believe is the word you're digging for.
Yeah, food critic. You bring back soy, you bring back eggs and a couple bottles of Gatorade, and then you decide to let those eggs sit in the lime juices of a Gatorade thing to get like pickled eggs, but it's like Gatorade pickled eggs, and then you serve them up, and they're like,
a sweet egg.
This is the audacity of this
God,
dish.
Gatorade is right there, huh? And we missed it.
Gator. Gator egg. That's pretty funny. But then that's the game. So it's like between levels, you are getting rated on the dishes that you do. So it's this back and forth of a sandbox game where you have to avoid zombies. So maybe it's, let's say Mirror's Edge. It's like you are parkouring to avoid these zombies, and there's some fun flow mechanics there. Oh, what if it takes a little bit from what's it called, that Death Stranding, where it's like if you get hit, you drop everything you have on you.
Okay,
so like
so it's a little Dying Light, it's a little bit Death Stranding. You're running around, you're on little shopping missions. You're trying to get as many food things as possible. The problem is that, of course, in the zombie apocalypse, the food has all been taken. And so you're trying to find the stuff that's still good. You find a Twinkie here, you find some gravy there, you go back home, you make some gravy and Twinkies.
What if people give you orders? Like, before you go out on a mission, it's like, hey, man, I need something salty. Like, I need something that's like a soup. I need something hot. I need something cold. And it's nothing that really dictates exactly what they want. It's like nobody says outright, I want a Twinkie. Nobody says outright, I want Fruity
They say
Pebbles.
something, I could go for something savory and sweet right now. And so you're like,
and then
I'm
you
trying
get
to
decide
I'm trying
what
to
that
tick
is.
as many boxes as possible. If I can get sweet, savory, and salty in one meal, then I'm going to get so many points.
Yes. And as you go through the game, you discover more recipe cards. You know, like in Dead Rising, you get the weapon combo cards that you can collect and like
Here's
discover.
my one
it's
question
like that.
then. Because I think that what we're doing is very funny, but it's all just words and make pretend. How do I make somebody eat a gator egg?
A gator? I mean, you serve it up. It's not like they have an option.
No, Blake,
it's a zombie
I'm
apocalypse.
asking, how do I set up in my real world this situation where the video game has given me the recipe on how to prepare and cook a gator egg, and I convince my neighbor to eat one? You know, I'm new in town. I just got to a new city. I'm trying to spice up some friendships and need some good icebreakers. And I think that showing up with a bunch of devil eggs, not deviled eggs, devil eggs, because they are food that Satan would eat. And I say, check this out. It's Twinkie with gravy on it. It's a hush puppy, but I filled it with jelly beans instead of cheese.
Melted jelly beans, but you
not
didn't.
A hush
they're
puppy.
not all the same flavor.
What's it called when it's like a pig in a blanket? It's that, but instead it's like bad. I don't have a good joke for what I would put in a bad pig in a blanket. Sorry. It's a pig in a blanket, but it's got jelly beans inside of it, or not like gummy bears.
We can't keep going back to jelly beans.
I'm sorry, I just hate jelly beans so much, and if you put them in anything, I'm out.
All right, it's a beignet, but the cream filling inside, instead of like any sort of filling inside, it is. Oh, actually, people like Vegemite. People
Beignets
really like
don't have
Vegemite.
filling. Come on, check
What?
yourself.
Beignets don't have filling? What are you talking
they're just
about?
fluffy, dog. They're fluffy and delicious.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What? But they don't. But they've
They've got a lot of powdered sugar, but check this out. This time it's just flour. Eat up.
He didn't have powdered sugar, so he just got beignets but covered them
In flour,
like baking soda.
Mm-hmm.
No, in baking soda to add that little bit of spice, that little bit of zing.
It's
'Cause
all
I think
salt?
you can eat baking
It's
soda,
all powdered salt?
It's all powdered salt. Actually, that does sound pretty good, like a
How
salty
do I
donut.
get people to eat the recipes that we've created?
I'm imagining people would just try it on their own. Like the marketing campaign is us making on TikTok little bite-sized videos, wink, bite-sized videos.
I like it.
Each of these recipes from the game. So that's part of the marketing campaign. So my eventual goal would be to get people to make these recipes, because we consciously know they're fucking awful. Like everything in this game is bad. Don't make it.
Well, again, I know that.
To get
Again,
it.
you are not an expert in this space. I need you to have an asterisk on that. You need to be honest with our consumers. You would eat these.
You keep shitting on me, but I'm just gonna come out and say
I literally just pitched beignet covered in
buds.
powdered salt, and I heard you say, sweet bread with a shit ton of salt on it. Yum. So, like...
Well, what the fuck do you think a maple donut is, AJ? It's just a salty donut. That's all it is. It's just a salty frosted donut. What is a beignet? A donut.
You can't do this.
It is what it is. They are prepared the same way. They are dough that's been fried. They're just shaped differently. That's all it is.
Okay, the next time we go to the street fair, I'm gonna ask for an elephant ear, and when they say salt or sugar or cinnamon, I'm just gonna say as much salt as humanly fucking possible.
And then I'm gonna give you in front of me, and I will scoop it. I will scoop it into my gullet, and I will fucking not break eye contact with you. I will eat it. I will eat it and just give you the dagger eyes the entire time I'm eating it. All right. Either way, we have some games. We should take a small break to discuss a little bit more about SUCC Season 2, and then we're going to go into our brand new, instead of boss fights, we are going into modifiers.
All right, let's talk about Season 2. Which one of our lovely new additions would you like to talk about?
All right, so we got some great news. A couple months back, we launched our merch store, which had a whole line of shirts and stickers and stuff like that. And we thought, this can use some spice. This can use something new. So we took one of our favorite moments in the show that AJ and I constantly quote outside when he and I are just hanging out, and we turned it into a sticker. And AJ, it is one of my favorite. It's probably one of my favorite things you've ever fucking said
it's
on
like
the show.
The first moment that I remember doing this podcast, and I was like, I'm having the time of my life with this stupid bit right here. And that bit was a moment from it was when we were still recording in person, even. So it's over a year and a half old now, and that bit is the Gators OP, please nerf.
For those that don't know, alligators can climb fences.
They run up to 30 miles per hour. They can swim and crush anything with their jaws. They can leap and bound. And the only reason why gators don't kill all of us is because they simply choose not to. We can't get too deep into this.
And some fuckers decided in Florida, of all places. I mean, it makes sense. It's Florida. It's a crazy ass state. They have a mini golf course next to live gators, so you could be mini golfing. And then you turn your back, and then you turn back around, and there's a gator right there behind you, just ready to chomp on you. And that's fucking terrifying. Who thought that was a good idea? So we wanted to just encapsulate that moment, one of our favorite moments in our lives, into the podcast.
It was so
we immortalized it. So there is a brand new sticker on our store for Gators OP, please nerf. It's an adorable little sticker. We had a lot of fun making it, and we hope you enjoy it as well. We have links to our merch store in the comments below.
And we got one more piece to our Season 2 update that we will talk about in patch notes. Blake Raya. Speaking of updates, let's go ahead and grab a modifier from our Discord. Now,
all right. So,
this time around, it isn't just boss fights anymore. Now, is it, Blake?
No. So the brand new thing that we're doing on our Patreon Discord is, as you know, we've been doing boss fights at the end of every episode where our Patreon members can submit a boss fight. It could be just some At the end of every episode, our Patreon Discord submits a boss fight. This could be something that
it's usually a character or an enemy that we will face up against somewhere in the game, which is a really fun way to think about how our game actually functions. But Blake and I noticed time and time again we kept on skipping it or forgetting about it. And this obviously means one thing and one thing only. We were bored of it.
We needed some spice. We needed some add-on. So what we decided to do is to make our Patreon a little bit cooler, a little bit awesome, is we now have modifiers, which are themes that we have pre-selected. And every 2 weeks, we pick a new theme and give it to our Discord for them to have fun with and give us new ideas. NPCs, bosses, items. The theme is going to be brand new every couple of weeks. And this week's theme, I think AJ is going to tell you.
This week's theme is consumable items. We wanted to see what people had as ideas as consumable items, something that you will use one-off in the game and then ignore that item for the rest of it. Unless, consumable items like health potions, things that you're going to hold on to, like a billion of them before you go and fight the final boss. So we need to pick our nugget before we find out which one of these games gets a consumable item, though.
I feel like the one that would have the best idea or the best use of consumable items might be our crafting game.
I agree.
Because that game's all about collecting shit anyways. So I'm wondering what are some of
in a crafting stores.
Yeah, horror in a crafting store. We'll have to come up with a stronger name, but I'm going to look at some modifiers. This one comes to us on Discord from Gazer. Meat made of you. So I'm wondering if we want to go to sort of a body horror aesthetic, and you're talking about like doing this game, the whole point of this game is to become more human. That opens up the door. Are you collecting body parts? Like, is this like JoJo's Part 6 where you're collecting pieces of a body or Part 7 or Part 8, whatever one where they're collecting pieces of Jesus Christ?
Yeah. I think it's more that you are collecting things and they become a part of you. Like you get clay and then like, that clay's your skin now. And then you go on, you get like paper and like, that paper is your legs now. You can run like the wind. And then you keep going and you get a clothes hook and congratulations, the clothes hook is your back and now you're a really tall and long stringy man.
How is that different than what we've already talked about? I want to try and implement, like Gazer said, meat specifically, and I'm wondering if this, as the game goes on, because you and I talked about this being a body horror game that you discover, towards the end of the game, maybe you just have pieces of actual flesh mixed in with the clay, and it just becomes this really uncomfortable, really fucking wild thing. But that's like also a design aesthetic. How is the meat used? I'm wondering.
Go on. I hear you chuckling. This makes me upset. Go.
I wonder if it's like a currency, or you have to use it as a health item. Like you have to like take some off of it. This is a little bit too much, actually, now that I think about it.
So what you're proposing is an idea of a collectible item that you'll get through the game that'll be one-use health bumps.
Yes. Like you get little chunk of meat.
It'll be an extra collectible item. I think that what we could do with this game is like you and I talked about there not being any no traditional health. When you get hit by things, they'll just like fall on the floor and you can pick them back up. Perhaps we will give a collectible item that you can hunt down through the world, maybe an item that you can purchase, and it will be a piece of meat. If you pop the piece of meat in the middle of a combat run, all of your flesh will regrow in that one moment. The things on the floor disappear and despawn, and you will have your whole body back together in that one moment.
What if this is, because again, I'm playing God of War right now. What if this operated like resurrection stones? So like a chunk of meat is what you use when your character dies. So it's like, but that's like a one time. So like you're in a boss fight and all your weapons, all your clay gets knocked off of you and you lose all of your quote health, unquote. As soon as you die,
still a fail state. You can lose all of your items and run around as a paperclip, and then perhaps with one final blow, much like Sonic the Hedgehog, if you've lost all your rings and then you get hit, that's a game over.
And then you get into that dying like quick time event, and it's like you have the option of like Sekiro, allow yourself to die or use meat.
Use meat.
Use meat. And then the paperclip just tosses a little chunk of meat in the area that looks like their mouth, and it just disappears as soon as it makes contact. And then that would be kind of cool, because then all of like the clay that's on the floor would wriggle and come back to you, like like the
no, it
how
doesn't
Venom
wriggle. It grows
looks.
out. I want a really horrifying thing
grows
where you
on
watch
you?
a paperclip spawn clay, and then the clay spawns paper,
It
and then
goes
the paper
like
spawns a clothes rack, and then the clothes rack spawns a T-shirt made of paper, and it just grows out horrifyingly.
Fuck, that sounds disgusting. I
Yeah,
love
this
it.
is
All
a
right.
gross game. It's a PS5 exclusive, and we watch all of it drip and drop and grow horribly.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, do you have a consumable? I think
Aiden proposes khaki pants.
khaki pants. That's the most human. That's the. Wait, hold on a second. That's our. Oh my God! Wait, I have it for you.
Yes,
I have it for
no,
you.
I know exactly what it
Okay.
is already. Here's what the khaki pants are used for. If you are able to attain a pair of khaki pants, you propose the idea of this cat being in the world. Now, as we all know, cats enjoy one thing, and that is killing and hurting things that are roughly their size, unless it is a human being.
Uh-huh.
Now,
So,
if you use these, if you get a pair of khaki pants and then you use those khaki pants, what you are being what you now have is a free ticket and a little timer for how long you can run with these khaki pants before they disappear. That you can move across the big hall of the Joanns and essentially fast travel all the way to the other side of the store. And if the cat sees you, the cat will be like, "That's a person. Obviously, they're wearing pants." Now, if you try to make your way across the giant Joann's fabric just on the floor without the khaki pants, the cat will know the jig is up, and the cat will try to hurt and kill you, and it will do so immediately.
I wonder if the khaki pants are considered an item that you find, and it's not necessarily a consumable in the sense of like you use it and then it goes away. It's an item that you permanently have. I like it using it that those khaki pants become your fast travel.
It has a 5-hour in real time cooldown.
Well, I'm wondering, not necessarily
I'm
wondering if you can use
and
this
platform and chop and screw and leap your way to the other side of the Joanns, unless you use the khaki pants, and then you can walk comfortably.
I'm wondering if you can use that in combat. Like, that's your rage mode, or like you go human for like 10 seconds. It's like any ultimate mode in any game. Like
I'll give you this. They are consumable items because you will need to buy more khaki pants or craft more khaki pants, and you can
you need to find shreds of khaki.
You need to find shreds of khaki, or
and then
purchase
those
shreds
are
of khaki.
hidden out in the world. Yeah, those are hidden in the world, and you need like, let's say, 5 pieces.
And then you can khaki will let you make a pair of pants. You can choose whether or not this item will be used in combat or in free travel. And I think what this actually opens up to is we've proposed the idea of like having a lot of items and pieces of yourself that you've collected throughout the game that either are weapons or are tools. What this is going to open up is the idea of when you pause the game, I'm imagining a little drop-down menu comes from the top, like a point-and-click adventure. And in that point, you can choose out your loadout, choose what equipment is assigned to what buttons. So if you want to use the khaki pants, you'll have to pause the game, equip khaki pants, and then use khaki pants. You follow what I mean? This would also give you the ability in the middle of combat to pause and then say equip laser pointer in right hand.
Yeah, this is
because laser pointer's
like,
different at the beginning of the game when it's a stun and the end of the game when it's used to point the cat in certain directions.
This is a lot like the Final Fantasy remake, am I right? Where it's like in the middle of combat, you can kind of like do a pseudo slow time pause and then like change loadout or change abilities middle of the fight.
In Final Fantasy, it is just to choose abilities, but we would be using it to change the way that your character is built. Yes.
I love it as a combat use. I don't necessarily know if it works as like a way to fast travel. I feel like fast travel should be something. I guess it boils down to, do you want fast travel to be something that they don't have access to all of the time?
Yes.
Or is it fast? Oh, okay. So it's like this is a game where it is about. I kind of like that because
it's a collectathon platformer. Of course, we have to get rid of platforming. Yeah, it does make you feel very small.
It makes you feel small. Like the fact that you are a small being in a massive world. And that is this Joann's fabrics, where it's like there's so many places to hide and be, and it's just a lot of empty space. Like any good quality open world game, it's a lot of bumfuck
empty
nowhere.
Nothingness, yeah.
All right, what are we calling this game?
What are we going to call this game? We can't call it Joanns. That's too on the nose. Might have proposed Boanns.
I think we can do something, maybe not necessarily
What's
in the name
of our little dude that's trying to come to life?
You can call him Clay, because Clay is a name.
Clay is good. My concern is that Clay is maybe not that great of a mascot character name.
Oh, really? Okay. You. Let me see. Do we want to? Okay, is this a game where we're calling it the name of the character?
It feels like it's playing on a lot of like Jack and Dexter, Banjo-Kazooie type things. Or like Mario, Spyro. Like we have a little guy that's going to be our companion as we watch and grow him to be a big thing. Mm-hmm. So I do want to name our little guy. What? Hey, wait a minute. Did I hear you say Clippy?
Huh? Cliffy?
Clippy. How do we feel about Clippy?
Cliffy? I like Cliffy, but part of my dumb brain was like, instead, you know, like how they call it Detroit Become Human? What if we just call it Joanns Become Human?
Holy shit. Joanns Become Human.
So stupid. It's so fucking stupid and low effort and funny.
That rules, Blake Rhea. You've done it. Joanns Become Human. That's a game, baby. I don't care what we name our little guy anymore. They're dead to me. The name is so good.
All right, let's go to patch notes.
Let's go to patch notes.
Become human. It's so stupid.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Patch Notes. Now, Blake and I mentioned earlier that we made one slight change to our Discord, which was the modifiers shift. But that is not the only shift that has been made. The other big thing that we did was we actually did a full remodel of our Patreon Discord. The goal here was to give a better space for our community to really interact and exchange ideas about things that they're interested in. So we added a bunch of new channels to help niche down what people are going to want to talk about.
Some of the channels that we thought would be really good is we added a whole dedicated space for all of the bonuses that come with our Patreon, like modifiers, early art, early access bonus content, and even like a channel dedicated to our game nights. We have a bunch of text channels for people to get together, talk about their pets. I made that channel for me because I got to share pictures of my 30-pound cat. And then we have another area for gaming. So we have like gacha, we have MMORPGs, we have tabletop chats, and even we have a channel dedicated to people wanting to get together to play games where, you know I'm in there. I'm in the process of planning some board games with some people on the Discord. I'm super excited. I'm super pumped, and we hope you can come join us on our Patreon. It's only $2 a month. You get a bunch of benefits, and we hope to see you there.
And with that, I think we're good to close the show out. As always, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting us. And thank you so much for not telling Joanns that we're infringing on their copyright by creating video games about them that they probably wouldn't be super jazzed about. As always, our intro and outro music is Cheap Shot by Anna Monoguchi, an excellent song from an excellent band for an excellent game. I have been one of your hosts, AJ Hart.
And I have been your other host, Blake Rhea.
This has been Spiritual Successor, and these are cool games
that should not be made.